Practices and beliefs that are passed down through generations are called traditions, and they can be found in every society. The nation of India has a rich variety of traditions dating back thousands of years. India is the 7th largest country in the world and one of the most populous too. It is home to many different languages and religions, but most of India's traditions come from its oldest religion, Hinduism. Some long-held Hindu traditions, however, became controversial when the British Empire ruled India. This Western influence helped transform the country in many positive ways. But some ancient customs are harder to change than others. Even today, many Indian people are still working to overcome traditions from the past that they believe should not be carried forward into the future. Meet Priya. She lives with her parents and siblings in a small apartment, called a flat, in India's capital, New Delhi. On school days, Priya gets out of bed before anyone else is awake. She attends a special private school across the city, and her journey each morning requires her to take 2 different buses. In Delhi, buses can be packed and unpredictable, so Priya often has to wait a while in the stations. To pass the time, she usually takes out her sketch pad and makes drawings inspired by the people rushing past. She pays special attention to their clothes. Priya has loved drawing clothing for as long as she can remember. Indian fashion is bold, bright, and beautiful, and Priya loves it. Over the years, she has even developed her own fashion style, and she dreams of someday working as a costume designer in Mumbai, home to India's famous film industry known as Bollywood. Priya's private school has a special arts program, which could help that dream come true. Like the rest of her classmates, she was accepted into the art program after submitting a portfolio of her best work. However, Priya has many obstacles to overcome in order to be successful within her new school. This will require her to have perspective and perseverance. Along with beliefs about their many gods, Hindus also have traditions for how people should live and be organized in society. Beginning thousands of years ago, Hinduism divided its members into different groups, or castes, each with their own roles and responsibilities. The different castes were ranked by what was believed to be their importance to society. There were also people not included in the caste system at all, and this was the group to which Priya's family belonged. They were literal outcasts. This group of people was the Dalits, and because they were viewed as unclean, they were commonly called untouchables. For most of history, Dalits were forced to live outside of villages and deal with messy jobs no one else wanted to do. Change, however, came to India when the British Empire took control. Along with advancements in transportation, agriculture, and government, the British spread the influence of Christianity and Western values throughout India. They discouraged or even outlawed harmful traditions, especially those that affected women. When India was given its independence, the government continued to strive for equality and outlawed discrimination against Dalits. Thanks to these changes, some Indian people that used to be outcasts were inspired to overcome their obstacles and pursue better lives for themselves and their families. But a tradition as old as the caste system is difficult to change, no matter what the law says. The culture shift was especially slow in the small village Priya's family came from. Her grandfather and father both endured terrible discrimination and abuse, but each of them persevered to gain an education and worked extra hard to improve their situation. Priya's parents didn't want their children to face the same level of prejudice, so they moved their family to Delhi shortly after she was born. Now they live in a modest neighborhood where colorful shops and apartment buildings are packed tightly together. Some of the family's neighbors are also Dalits, but many come from the lower castes too. Priya and her siblings choose their friends based on personalities and interests, not social ranking. Life is better in Delhi than in the old village, but unfortunately, the status of being untouchable continues to follow Priya in hurtful ways at her new private school. Priya was overjoyed when she was accepted into the special art program, and she was looking forward to having classmates who shared her passion for drawing. But as soon as everyone realized she was a Dalit on her first day, they immediately treated her differently. While most students gladly share art supplies with each other, the Dalit students are often excluded. Some kids even giggle when Priya walks through the hallways, and she hears comments about Dalits not deserving places in prestigious schools. During those first months, Priya spent many nights in tears and wondered if she had the skills as an artist to deserve a place there. Her parents had warned her about what she would face and tried to prepare her for the negative way many of her peers and teachers would treat her. But it was worse than Priya had expected. She longs for her classmates to see her for who she truly is, and not just the group she was born into. All Priya wants is to be treated equally, not better and not worse. She was on the verge of quitting school, but suddenly, thanks to Mrs. Tagore, everything changed. Mrs. Tagore teaches painting at Priya's school, and despite coming from the highest caste, she believes in equality. In fact, her passion for merit-based opportunity is what led her to become a teacher. Mrs. Tagore was once a professional artist who sold enough paintings to make a living, but now she puts her energy towards her students, no matter what caste they are from. At the end of the first grading period, Mrs. Tagore issued a special assignment to her students. She gave them all the same sized canvas and instructed them to paint it at home. When finished, they were to bring their work to school wrapped in a covering, and their names were only to be on the back of the canvas. The paintings would then be displayed, and the entire student body would vote on their favorites without knowing the artists. The day of the presentation came, and one painting stood out above the rest. The color combinations were vibrant, and its details were crisp and spectacular. The painting was of a busy bus station, and students were amazed by the beautiful clothing the people in it were wearing. There were even comments that it looked like a scene in a Bollywood movie. Priya no longer wonders if she's good enough or skilled enough. She won first prize in Mrs. Tagore's painting contest. And while she still faces taunts and isn't always treated equally, she no longer thinks of quitting the school. Priya struggles with the caste tradition, but she has big dreams, is full of talent, and no one is going to stop her. Anytime a negative thought creeps into Priya's head, she thinks of her family's tradition of hard work and determination. And she knows she can handle any adversity she faces.